Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to Horsepower Obsessed. Thank you so much for pressing that play button. Today I have some information for you, again, regarding the C8 Corvette. It's just some new rumors and possibly some news that I dug up on the internet and I thought I would share with you. So let's just get right into it. So today's video is not going to be overly long. I came across two pieces of information about the new mid-engine Corvette that I thought were interesting, and I wanted to share them with you guys. The first one is going to be probably the most interesting, is the fact that GM just recently trademarked the name ZORA for the second time. The first time they did this was in 2014. And if I had to guess, the reason that they did it in 14 was because they knew that the C7 Corvette was at the end of its performance abilities. So they had a pretty good idea that the new Corvette after the C7 was likely to be a mid-engine, and they knew they wanted to use the ZORA name for that particular car. Now, fast forward to December 2018, they actually refiled that application because in 2014, when they filed, they never submitted the supporting documents. They basically need a statement of use document to be able to file that trademark and keep it. And without a statement of use, basically saying what they would use it for, aka a mid-engine Corvette, it was never able to be trademarked. So now, with them filing it again in 2018, and us already knowing a good bit about the C8 Corvette, odds are good one of the models is going to carry the ZORA name. Now, they did file this in December of 2018. They have yet to submit any kind of statement of use document this time either. But with all of the C8 information flying around out there, there's a safe bet that it's going to end up on a C8 at some point. They still haven't filed a statement of use document for the trademark that they filed in December of 2018, but there's not really a rush because apparently you can request extensions of these for every 6 months for up to 3 years. So odds are good they have filed this just to get the ball rolling and plan on giving us a statement of use here pretty soon. For those of you who don't know who ZORA is, he actually worked with Chevrolet as an engineer for the Corvettes in the early years. He was very adamant about wanting to make a Corvette that was mid-engine and actually had a prototype mocked up at one point for it. There was a lot of talk and a lot of pushback because a lot of people speculated that making the Corvette mid-engine was going to push the price point too high for your typical Corvette buyer. Unfortunately, he passed in 1996, never got the opportunity to see the mid-engine Corvette being built, which is another reason why I'm pretty sure one of these models will have the ZORA name. The second thing I wanted to talk about today is the user Zerv02 on the Corvette forum. We've talked about him once before in a previous video where he discussed the starting point of the Corvette C8 being $169,900. He's also the one that originally drew the interior of the C8 after claiming he had ridden in one and knew what it looked like. Now, just like I stated in that video, I'll state the same in this one. Anything he says pretty much has to be taken with a grain of salt because there is zero evidence to back it up. He's a fairly new user on this Corvette forum, and he doesn't have a lot of faithful followers. With all that being said, he stated on the Corvette forum that there is going to be a surprise reveal on the 14th. Now, he posted this on January 3rd at 1 a.m. So he is definitely referring to a surprise revealing of this car on the 14th of January at the North American International Auto Show. So naturally the discussion starts that GM literally has no scheduled talking time on the 14th of January. So if this car actually does end up being revealed on that date, it will literally be out of the blue. While that seems unlikely, given the hype of this car, it isn't necessarily impossible. Zerv02 goes on to say that the car that's going to be unveiled on the 14th is going to be a coupe and a spider. I actually talked about the possibility of a spider in one of my previous uploads. Based on the way that the roofline looks, some of the models we've been seeing are likely to be a spider type convertible. So again, not knowing if what he is talking about is 100% accurate, it still could be legit. As I stated, the C8 kind of needs its own release. I feel like the hype of this car is something that GM could really benefit off of by making a standalone announcement. But at the same time, Ford's most recent GT did something very similar. No one knew that that was coming, and it was still a shock when they pulled the cover off at the show. So it is possible. It is not necessarily likely, but definitely a possibility that GM could work this car in that schedule as a surprise. Now, as I said before, the ZERV02 user has come up with a couple different pieces of information that he claims someone close to the source gave him. Again, I would take any of this with a grain of salt because he has no way of proving any of this. But if some sort of surprise event does happen on the 14th, then everything he's given us up to this point is probably legit. But unfortunately for him, the exact opposite is true if nothing happens on the 14th. And one last thing, there was a picture recently of a spy shot car that was taken at night showing the C8 illuminating its rear taillights. And they actually light up in a very similar way to the C8R that was spotted on the track at night. So it's kind of interesting to see this car finally taking shape and seeing exactly how it's going to look a lot like its big C8R brother. But anyway, guys, that's going to be it for the video. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. What do you think this car is going to end up being called? Give me a big thumbs up if you liked the video. Subscribe if you haven't yet. Thank you all for pressing play, and I'll catch you guys in the next upload.